Welcome to Lair of the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. As you can see, I am not at the Lair. Where am I? I'm in my car at the Metallica Drive-In Concert. We just got here, and I'm pleasantly surprised to see that there are tons of cars here. I think this is definitely going to be a sold-out event. So, as everybody knows, being in the middle of a pandemic, we all miss going to live shows. I know I miss going to live shows. And Metallica has stepped up here and they've given us something to sort of fill in the gap until we can all get together again and go out and see some shows. So here we are at a drive-in movie theater. Like I said earlier, it looks like it's going to be a sold-out show. We just pulled in. There's actually a local metal cover band, and they're set up underneath the big screen here, and they're playing live and being projected over the screen, which was a surprise. I didn't know that was going to happen, so that's extremely cool. If you've never been to a drive-in movie theater before, maybe for some of you younger kids out there, you tune your car radio, and to a certain bandwidth, and then that's how you get your sound coming through. So I've got to give Metallica credit all through this whole pandemic. They've been showing live concerts, streaming live concerts every Monday night on YouTube. Now they put this together. So we're going to see what it's all about. Is it going to be as cool as a live show? A typical live show? Probably not. But hey, these are extraordinary times. So we'll take what we can get right now. I won't be filming any of the concert because I don't want to get a copyright strike against me on my channel. So we'll see how it goes. It's just, hey, this is fun just to be out. This is the first time I've been out. I'm here with my wife. This is the first time we've been out since everything got shut down back in March. So it's cool to see all the metalheads out here. It's a summer night here in Florida, so it's a little bit hot. But hey, we've got our snacks, we've got our drinks with us. So we're going to have some fun. So I'm going to check in with you maybe later after the show here, and I'll let you know what we thought of the show. Okay, so we'll catch you later. All right, I am back at the Lair after the Metallica Drive-In Concert. I figured I would do the second half of this back home. It was so dark in the car that I don't think it would have came out very good. So overall, it was a fun experience. Was it as fun as a real live concert? Of course not. But considering the circumstances we're in, it was fun to get out of the house. It was fun seeing Metallica on the big screen. Where I saw it, I thought they did something pretty interesting. They had a local band, I think I mentioned this earlier, that was set up actually underneath the big screen, and they were projecting them on the screen, and they had a little PA system by them, and they were a Pantera tribute band, so that was kind of fun. And when the formal show got started, 3 Days Grace opened up the show, although their part of it was filmed, looked like in a studio somewhere else. Honestly, I'm not a fan of 3 Days Grace. I wish, that might have been my only big complaint, I wish Metallica had picked a more classic band or an old school 80s style band. I think that would have been more appropriate, would have been more fun. But there were people around that seemed to enjoy 3 Days Grace, and they really didn't play for that long. They maybe only played for 30. I don't even think it was 45 minutes. But so when Metallica came on for their part of the show, they filmed it at a winery. So when it started, it was daylight, and it was actually really cool. You could see mountains in the background and the big open scenery. They didn't have a huge stage. They had a pretty moderate sized stage with some lighting, racks kind of set up. It wasn't anything too much, not a ton of amplifiers on stage. It was a pretty kind of stripped down thing, but I thought it was a really cool kind of setup. In fact, at first it reminded me a little bit of Pink Floyd at Pompeii, the way, they were outside like that when this concert, when their part of the show started. They were doing some aerial shots of this winery that they were at, and so that was pretty cool. In some ways, I wish there was a little bit more of that. I wish they had taken some more imagery of the scenery and stuff around them. Overall, though, it was cool. The band sounded great. They mentioned they hadn't played together in a year. It seemed like they were excited. They were having a good time. James was talking between songs. He had a list at one point where he was doing shout outs to different drive-in theaters all over. The drive-in that we were at, now I mentioned earlier that what they do is you tune into a radio station. And so you could sit in your car and listen to it through the radio. But if you did sit outside, there were speakers somewhere by the main screen that was putting out quite a bit of sound. Now, we were kind of far back, so I wish it could have been louder sitting outside. But it's a drive-in. It's not designed like an outdoor concert venue. But at a point, we moved a little bit closer down by where the concession stand was, and it was quite a bit louder there, and it was pretty enjoyable. So the sound was great. The band sounded great. They seemed to look like they were having a lot of fun. They had a lot of energy. I wrote down the set list here. They opened with Hardwire to Self-Destruct, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fuel, Seek and Destroy, Creeping Death, One, Now That We're Dead, Sad But True, Moth into Flame, Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam, Fade to Black, Master of Puppets, Battery, Nothing Else Matters, and of course, Enter Sandman. So the set list was pretty what you might expect. They didn't really take any chances. They didn't pull any deep cuts. It would have been fun if they had maybe done something a little different with that. Maybe they could have done some cover songs that they've never done before, or threw in one or two deep cuts. I mean, I'm a guy that likes the first four albums the most, but it was a nice balance. Battery was maybe a nice surprise from the older albums. Creeping Death sounded great. For Whom the Bell Tolls sounded great. Even the newer stuff, Moth into Flame, sounded really good. The whole thing sounded great. So overall, it was a fun experience. It was nice to get out of the house. Of course, in some ways it was a little bittersweet because you're wishing you could be at a real concert up close with people, the loud music, that whole atmosphere, so you're not going to get that. You didn't get that here, but I applaud Metallica for doing this. They seem to be actively trying to reach out and do things for their fans during this pandemic. They have been doing the Monday night YouTube concerts that they show a new concert every Monday night. So I respect them for doing something like this, doing something for the fans. They obviously put a lot of time into the editing, and the show was edited really nicely with all kinds of different camera angles and stuff. The sound was great. So good on them for doing this for the fans and doing this for everybody in these difficult times when we can't be out there doing what we want to do out there with our fellow metalheads, friends, going to live shows. So overall, fun night. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you go to the Metallica Drive-In Concert? What did you think? Make sure you hit subscribe and like. And until we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.